Yo, how you doing? How's it going? Back in black with some more Enlisted news and commentary. Today they added some more or two new levels for the Berlin campaign, obviously in preparation for the nearby release. And I kind of wanted to talk about why casual players don't use engineers as effectively as they could. But if you guys are new to the channel and you enjoy shooting games, make sure you guys aim for that like button and shoot that subscribe button as well. Really helps me out as a small YouTuber, and it'll make sure the teammates that you get actually play the objective. Anywho's, let's get into the news really quick, and then I will proceed to talk about what I really want to talk about in this video. At level 22, we will get the game's first self-propelled artillery guns, which is basically like a how should I say, like a colossal tank, if you will, for lack of better words. So basically, we will be getting these for the Germans and the Russians. The Russians will get the what is this called? The Su-85M, and this SPG has been built on the chassis of the T-34 and is noticeably superior in terms of frontal protection. The thing with these SPGs is that they will be very, very strong in the front, but very, very vulnerable in the side and the back, and you cannot rotate the turret. So that is, the downside, as opposed to the upside being a main cannon that is even stronger than what you would find on a normal tank. So keep that in mind when you unlock these and start using them. The gun on the front is 85 millimeter, which is more than capable of dealing with any tank that you come across on the battlefield, so no worries there. The Germans, on the other hand, will be getting their hands on the Panzer IV, or Panzer 470A, which is also a SPG. Which again means you cannot turn the turret around. It is equipped with a 75 millimeter Pak 42 cannon, and the only difference between this one and the Russian version, or what they are getting, is that this one actually has a vulnerable plate on the front of it, but the gun is placed so high that they say it shouldn't really matter if you can park your tank behind cover. And generally speaking, with these level 22 tanks, I would say the only thing that you should keep in mind is that the guns are stronger, you can't rotate the turret, and they are even more reliable on infantry, considering the fact that you again can't turn the turret and you're more susceptible to flanks from the side and the rear. So if you are going to use it, make sure you actually have some teammates who you can communicate with and actually talk to. Ooh, this next one right here got me actually, kind of lit. So, at level 23 for the Berlin campaign, we will be getting the DT-29, which is basically an upgraded version of the DP-27 machine gun. So, the only difference with this one is that it comes with a 63 round drum mag, and it has noticeably less vertical recoil. And, it might not sound like much, but in the grand scheme of things, you guys should understand that, ammo capacity is like one of the most useful things you can have on a gun in this game. The more bullets your gun can hold, the more of a kill streak, or the longer of a kill streak you can go on. And 63 bullets for a gun that kills in like 1 to 2 shots anyways, like, do you have to just like you have to think about it and like fathom the amount of damage you can do to like an entire team if you get on like a really good flank, or like post up in a really good spot on defense. There's not going to be much you can do about a this or a MG42 in a good spot. And speaking of a MG42, not that we already got that last patch, but what the Germans are getting is the MG34 with the Panzernotramo 34 magazine, which is basically like a drum magazine, but like on the top. And same concept with this gun, except that it comes with 75 bullets in the mag instead of 67 or whatever. One of the pro side of the combination is the fact that the reloading speed of this is going to be basically non-affected at all, because all you have to do is take it out and put another one back on. So it's the same. This is even better than the DP-27. So yeah, man, slightly faster fire rate than the MG42, or not as high, I should say, but a higher magazine. So you can get the best. You can pick and choose. You can't really go wrong either way with machine guns in this game. It doesn't matter which one you use. So be on the lookout for that. But with that being said, that they only put 2 levels in that. That's pretty much all the news. But what I'm about to transition into is a problem that has kind of been like, it's been plaguing me as just like a player of this game, but I'm gonna put it out there and see if it's been affecting any of you guys as well. And what I'm talking about here is like the fact that even after the update where you get experience for like building stuff as an engineer, I still don't see a lot of people doing it, and it's kind of becoming a, I don't want to say an issue, but it's affecting how often I am winning, and probably how often you guys could be winning too. So let's get into it. The reason that I even mention anything about casual players using their engineers to the best of their abilities, because I've noticed like a very sad trend in my experience playing this game. And I want to preface this, of course, by saying that I play on PS5, so I don't know how much of what I'm about to say, bleeds into the PC side of the community. But it is something that I'm pretty sure anybody on Xbox would notice as well, because it's the issue is that like 90% of players, like I said, they're not using their engineers as efficiently or effectively, if even at all. And if you look at the scoreboard in this gameplay, or honestly any of my recent gameplays, you will notice that more often than not, I am the only guy with any like points or stats in the engineer building section at the end of the game. And it's like, if you think about it, like it's kind of tough because even after the developers have taken steps to encourage people to actually use the engineers as intended, instead of just having them out there as like another rifleman, because without them actually building, that's really all there are. They're just riflemen standing around as like, some more cannon fodder. But, quite frankly, it's really like frustrating. And I'm not sure like if people just don't understand the value of an engineer, like, how valuable it could be as a whole, or they're just opting not to run engineer squads in general. But even if that was the case, even if you don't want to run engineer squads, you can spec your squad to most squads. You can spec them to put engineers in there. So even if that was the case, I don't really understand like why I'm not seeing people actually use them the way they should, if at all. And it's like the game is imploring you to put the engineers in all these squads, and it's like, think about it, right? Like, if most of the squads that you look at, and as you like go through the perk trees and like spec them out, you see that there's a lot of wrenches in there, and it's like, oh, I can put an engineer in my machine gun squad. I can put it in my rifleman squad. I can put like 4 or 5 of them in my actual engineer squad. It's like the game is almost imploring you to use engineers, as if the game it's almost like as if the game is telling you like, hey, this is probably the most useful class in the game. You should probably get a bunch of them on your team. It will help you win if you actually use them. And it's like, even with that being the case, most people usually tend to, use them as like a afterthought or not use them at all. And it kind of sucks because me personally, like, I'm not going to say I take every opportunity or every chance to make an engineer, rally point or ammo box, but it's like I do it way more often than I see anybody else in my lobbies do it. And it's like, I could win a lot more games if other people had the same mindset that I had. And I was trying to take a step back and think about why that is. Like, why is the situation like even, as prevalent as it is? And I thought about it, and I'm like, like I said before, the mindset of a casual player, especially on console, is not going to be as dedicated or focused on winning as a PC player. And I understand that. I understand most people don't like, use like logic when it comes to like winning these games. They kind of just want to play for fun. Sometimes people just want to run into the action and get to shooting people. And now that I mention it, one thing I noticed about building is that it's not necessarily the funnest thing to do. And that's something that I feel like should be taken into account when it comes to like examining why people do not use the engineers as much. Nobody wants to run all the way across the map, because you know how long it takes to get into the battle to begin with. It's considering the spawn points. Nobody wants to run all the way up to the battle, get there, then have to wait a whole another 10 to 15 seconds, trying to hammer out a rally point or an ammo box. But when I say that, it kind of makes me think like, oh, this is a contradiction, because if somebody really knew the value of a rally point, they would understand like those extra 10 seconds that you are taking to build one will benefit you, not only you, but the entire team in general. Because if nobody wants to take forever to run from the spawn point to the actual like where the fight is happening, that's more reason to build rally points. And yet, nobody's still doing it besides, myself and a couple of other people. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, literally nobody builds rally points on console, but it's almost like a phenomenon or a miracle when I see somebody besides myself do it. I'll see like 2 or 3 people, but, 3 out of 1,000 players that I come across all the time is not a good portion, especially for something that is as useful as an engineer. So I was thinking of ways to, maybe like promote like people to actually use their engineers more, and I came up with a few. My first idea is that I think players that who are in need of ammo should get like a blinking icon or something of the sort, above their head, to point out, that a very helpful gameplay opportunity is, right in front of you, like, hey, your team needs ammo, make an ammo box. Even with the large ammo pack, and like as a gunner, like when I use like a BAR or like a Bren or something like that, even an MG13 in the Moscow campaign, I find myself running out of ammo and just wishing that I had like one out of the 20, 10, however many teammates, like just one of y'all, please make an ammo box. It's so like it be tripping me out sometimes where like I will not see anybody build a thing. And honestly, I think assaulters and gunners would benefit from like the ammo boxes the most. And I really think it will bolster, especially like if you're on defense. I really think it will bolster your defenses. It probably not as much as on offense because you got to like run to the box, pick it up, and then run back to wherever you was going. But yeah, I just think like some kind of icon or something above your head where like, hey, it would show anybody who has an engineer in their squad that they could help somebody out. It would be very useful. Another suggestion I have that would encourage players to use rally points more is to, decrease the amount of time that it takes to build them, maybe by about like 2 or 3 seconds. If you guys don't have a problem increasing how often somebody can use artillery, I'm sure you guys won't have an issue decreasing how much time it takes to build a rally point. And especially if you can get shot as soon as you make them, it probably wouldn't be too much of a issue. And if it is, you can just also decrease the amount of time it takes to, dismantle one, or I guess how many bullets it takes to shoot or to destroy it or something like that. Even though I myself know how useful rally points are to the team and myself as a whole, I don't necessarily enjoy, running all the way off to the side of the map to build them. So, another thing that I think would possibly really help with like how often people use them in general is if there was like a perk or something in the skill tree where you could decrease the amount of time it takes to build something in general. I think that would just make people not necessarily mind using their engineer as much. Or yeah, if you guys are going to make it a perk, I would probably make it a yellow perk and cost anywhere from like 8 to like 12 points. If you guys are going to put it in the skill tree, you should definitely put it in the red skill tree and make it like an upgrade near the bottom where, it just takes less time to build whatever you're trying to build. And I think that would actually make the engineer class a lot more viable, or at least more used, because like I said, I'm just not seeing that as much on here. Or I mean, not that people aren't using engineer classes, they're just not using them the right way. So it's just like anything you can do to encourage more building, which is what the engineer class is made for. Definitely, just I'm just spitballing here. Like, let me know if you guys are thinking of anything else in the comments. Also, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but very often when I'm in a squad that has multiple engineers in it, I will put a rally point down and I will order the other engineer to build it, and then I will run off to go do whatever else I was about to go do. And I will die expecting to see a rally point when I come back, only to find out that whoever, whatever engineer I commanded to actually build the rally point, he never did it. He ran up like he was going to do it, or it's like, you would double tap it, you would double tap square like 8 times, and he's like, yo, are you going to build it or not? But like, yeah, sometimes it's a very finicky command, because sometimes it'll work and sometimes it won't. And it's like, I don't know, it's kind of annoying when what's the point of having an AI command if they're not actually going to perform it? It's not, the only time I've seen them do it is when I literally sit there and watch them take out their hammer and build the rally point myself. And at that point, I might as well build it myself. There's no point of me watching him do it. I would like to be able to just press square and wander off without him, doing whatever he's doing. So I don't know. I don't know if that was just a me thing, but yeah, they need to look at that command again or something like that. I don't know. The third and probably most effective change I would like to see that could encourage engineers to, build would be having some like on-screen prompts. And obviously this is not for anybody who is good at the game or is, like actually invested in the game and invested in winning. They probably wouldn't need anything like this, because this is really just like a reminder kind of thing. But like, it goes a little bit further than seeing a blinking ammo icon over like your soldier. I would like to see like some tool tips like, hey, we see you're on a point just standing around. Maybe you should make some barbed wire or sandbags, or like I said, an ammo box. Or better yet, now that I'm thinking about it, like a command where we could say fortified point would be very cool too. I rarely ever see anybody make like attempt to make barbed wire or sandbags on point when we're playing defense. So it's like, whether it be on conquest or invasion, it doesn't really matter. And even if they did, I understand it wouldn't really matter if a plane came by with like a 500-kilogram bomb. That would probably just be the end of all your hard work right there. So if that's your argument, I guess. But even if that wasn't the case, it's still very useful to build some sandbags and barbed wire because that's easy XP, and people are just literally foregoing that, even though they made it to where you can get easy XP. So maybe, like I said, some on-screen prompts, like the same way they can tell you you need to reload or like your tank is on fire. I don't see why they couldn't tell you like, hey, make some ammo or make some sandbags or barbed wire if you have an engineer in your class. Just anything, like I said, anything that would encourage the team play in this game. But I'm just trying to figure out ways, like I said, I'm just trying to figure out ways to encourage your typical console player to use their engineer to the best of their ability rather than having zero build points all game, because that doesn't help your team win, nor does that help you level up or anything like that, you know. And yeah, I don't know. It's just a little weird. So I feel like we need to take some developers at least need to take some more drastic measures as far as like getting more people engaged into doing things that will actually benefit the team. But I don't know. It's just some thoughts that I've been having. Like, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you see a lot of engineers like building stuff in your games? And is this just like an experience that I am only having? Because when I look at the end of the game, every time I see all those zeros down on the engineer slot, I'm like, yo, why am I the only one making rally points? Am I also going to be the only reason we're winning? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I understand it's a casual game, but you know, winning is casually fun. So, like I said, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in another video. Black guy out.